who abused me is still out there. Like, I went for a statement, I went through the entire process. There was a possibility of me having to go to court, but he denied it. And yeah. And then I got a lot of shit from people that I know for dumping him because he's got mental health issues and he might kill himself. And I'm there like, he sexually abused me, physically abused me, and emotionally and mentally abused me, and has caused me to have actual diagnosed PTSD. So please tell me how I should not have dumped him. Like, I can't, when it comes up to February, I can't function as a person in February. February is my worst month because in February, that's when I have my PTSD kicking in, because I met him in February. I met him in February, and every single February and March, I have crippling panic attacks. I have nightmares where I'm waking up every couple of hours because of them. I can't function. I'm constantly panicking. I'm crying all the time, and I have constant flashbacks. I had them constantly in work, and it got so bad to the point I didn't know if I was in his flat or if I was in work. Like, I didn't know if I was in the flat or if I was in work anymore, and I was having I couldn't snap. I kept on snapping into two different realities because my brain was so frazzled from the PTSD, it can't function. I could feel his hands on me when I was in work, and that's fucking terrifying. And I have constant thoughts that he's gonna walk through the door and he's gonna be back in my life, and then I'm stuck again. Like, that is a constant thing every single year. It's a year-round thing. And he's just like out there living his life now, doing God knows what, which is terrifying. Panda, let me give you a hug. I always feel like I deserve a hug from that. It's so weird. I've bumped into him since, and he ran the other way as soon as he looked at me, which is should tell you how guilty he is. I don't think he would recognize me now, as in like now how I am now, because I look very different. I feel like I kind of did that on purpose. I met him yesterday. They just need to go, these people. I think I can show you what I looked like when I was with him. You don't even cry while talking about it. It was 4 years ago now. So I think it's kind of gotten to the point where I don't cry about it anymore. I just get very angry. So I don't really cry about it anymore. I just kind of get really angry and really frustrated. There we go, cat ear time. I don't know why I don't cry about it. It's a weird one. What did I look like then? Oh, one sec. Let me get this picture up and I can show you what I looked like. Once upon a time. When I was with him, I'll show you what I looked like then. Posture check. Water, so not the rum now. Thank you for the posture check, Milk. Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty strong from it. It's just so weird. So this is me when I was in the relationship with him. So that was me when it was all happening. I guess I don't look too different. It's weird looking at that picture, knowing everything that happened. You can see the pain. Aww. I'm sorry this one's such a downer, to be fair. But you know what? I don't think I've ever talked about what happened to me on stream before. You should have seen my brother when I told my parents finally what happened. So when everything happened, I dumped him over the phone. I dumped him by text. I wasn't gonna meet him in person. Can you imagine if I would have met him in person? Jesus fucking Christ, I might be dead if that would have happened. So I went home. I was upset. And my dad asked me what was going on, so I told him that I broke up with him, and he thought I was crying because I broke up with him, but I was more crying because I was like, oh my god, that stuff's never going to happen again. And my dad just went, my dad just was like giving me a hug, and I just went, he was like, so why did you break up with him? I thought you two were fine. And I told him why. My dad was very calm, which I was shocked about. My dad was very calm. I think he was more trying to make sure that I didn't get too upset. So my dad was very calm. And he was just being like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. He was like, because I had to go, I went home during my break at college. So I had to go back to college for a maths lesson. And I went back to college for the maths lesson, came back. And my mum, when I got back, my mum was home. So my mum, see, most people think it's dads that you have to be scared of. No, be terrified of my mum. So I got back. My dad had told my mum for me, so I didn't have to. Which is good, because I didn't want to. Because woman is scary. But scary in a good way. Because, oh my god, she was on a rampage. She wanted to kill a fucker. She wanted to kill him. Ironically, my brother had also been there when my mum found out. I don't think my mum knew what my dad wanted to talk about. And he just told her. And my brother overheard it. So my brother wanted to kill him. My brother was like, I'm going to fucking kill him. I'm going to fucking kill him. I'm gonna fucking kill him. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna fucking kill him, because I was fucking crying. And my mum was just there like, we gotta call the police. I was like, no, don't call the police. She's like, we are calling the fucking police. You are calling the police. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Do I have to call the police? And she's like, you are calling the fucking police. I was like, but I don't want to talk to the police. She was like, right, you're gonna go into college tomorrow, and you're gonna go.
Do it! Just do it!
That was my mum.
So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
That was my mum! That was my mum!
What are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can!
So that was my mum when that happened. So yeah, that was what my mum's reaction was. And yeah, so I went back to my mum was like, right, tomorrow go to your tutor at college. She's kind of like someone that you just go to about anything, and you can go to them about sexual assault and violence and stuff like that, and talk to them about it if you don't want to go directly to the police. So I was like, okay. So I went to my college tutor, and I just went, what do I talk to you about sexual assault in relationships? And she went, yes. And so he rang the police at college. And the police were like, do you want us to come and take your statement at the college or at your house? So I was like, can you come to my house? Because I don't want people at the college to know what happened. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. So he came to my house that day. I gave a statement, and I just had to wait it out. Did it happen more than once? This kind of progressed over a while, over a bit of time. So when I started staying over at his place, so he lived on his own. So after a while, it was more stuff that I didn't realize until later on that was bad. I can tell. I'm fine with telling you guys about it. Honestly, I'm gonna put a I'm gonna put a trigger warning storyline on the title for people who, if they do join. Story time. Sorry, not storyline. Just in case, if anyone does join, so they don't have to. So just in case, because this does get pretty dark. So what essentially happened was, I was 18 at the time. He was 21. I'm pretty sure he was 21. So it was a very legal. It was a legal relationship. It was fine. I was 18. We got together. We'd been talking online for a while, so this is where it shouldn't have gone past going on. It shouldn't have gone past being friends online, honestly, but it did. But yeah, so we were talking for a bit. We met up. I was in a bad place at the time, and we started a relationship up very quickly. At first, it was fine. At first, it was perfect, and then I started staying over his house. And it went from like, yeah, we slept together and stuff like that, but then it got to the point where he would start groping me when I was asleep, which I always thought was, like, weird. And then it was more like, I'll cook the food for tonight. What do you want us to have? And I'll cook it. So we got all the ingredients and stuff like that. And I was about to start cooking, and he'd be like, I want you to do it naked. I was like, I don't want to do it naked. He was like, well, I want you to do it naked. I think that'd be, like, good to look at. And I was like, I don't want to do it naked. But then he'd pressure me to the point where I'd end up having to, and he would just basically make me do the food naked. And then he would always be like, oh, I want you to go down on me. And I'd be like, I don't wanna. I was like, I don't want to go down on you. And he'd be like, oh, no, I want you to, though. I was like, I don't want to. But then he'd be, like, asking so many times. And then I would just go and do it because he'd be constantly pressuring. But he'd also be drinking all the time. So he'd be quite aggressive if I didn't do it. And then if I went to bed, he would sneak out the flat to go to the petrol station to go and get that was open 24 hours, to go and get a bottle of vodka. And then he'd come back to the flat and he'd sit on his PlayStation and just drink a bottle of vodka in 2 hours without mixing it, by the way, which is just But he'd do that, so he'd get very, very drunk. And then there was one instance where I was asleep. And then I got woken up about 4 a.m. roughly. And I only got woken up because I felt something. And I woke up and I looked down, and he had his hand, like, deep underneath my underwear, playing around with me underneath my underwear when I was asleep, which is very, very much sexual assault. And then whenever we'd go on, if I was out on a night out with my friends, so I wasn't with him, I'd be with my friends, I would constantly get phone calls from him throughout the night. So I'd constantly be out of the club all night having to deal with a phone call from him because he'd constantly ring me. Then eventually I stopped talking to my friends because they didn't like him, and I couldn't go and hang out with them without him ringing me, so he'd have to come everywhere with me. So I stopped hanging out with my friends because there's just no way I could hang out with my friends without something kicking off, like violence. Like, there was one guy that I was friends with, and he tried to start a fight with him, so I couldn't actually do anything anymore. I was working part-time as well, so I was working on Saturdays and Sundays, and on Wednesdays, which was my day off from college, I ended up changing my work schedule, so I wasn't working on Wednesdays anymore, because he hated the fact that I worked on Wednesdays because I wasn't spending time with him. So I ended up having to do less hours, which means I got less money just to go and stay with him at his flat. And then, don't cry, it's fine, I'm better now, it's better now, life's better now. And then there was the night, as I like to call it. I call it the night. It's definitely the night. So this was the worst one. So this is a massive trigger warning. And so we're at his flat. I never really drank around him. That's one thing I've realized. I never drank any alcohol around him. I don't like vodka, so I never drank alcohol around him anyway. So I was always sober for everything. So for all, if anyone's that arsehole that just goes, "Were you drunk?" No, I was always sober in that relationship. So one thing that happened was, I ended up skipping college for a day because he demanded that I stayed with him, which got me in a lot of trouble from my parents because I skipped college, and that's when they started hating him. My mum figured out that he was actually grooming me quite early on, but obviously I wasn't going to listen to her at the time. But on this particular night, he got very, very drunk, probably the most drunk that I'd actually ever seen him. And he kept on, like, hallucinating, I think he was. He was seeing his dad. That's what he was telling me anyway. And he was getting really scared. And he was panicking a lot. So I just sat on his lap. And I was just, like, trying to calm him down. And he called me a bitch. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are you calling me a bitch? Like, I'm just trying to calm you down. And he was just like, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. And I was like, right, okay. But then from the corner of my left eye, I just see this hand coming at full pace at me, and he just, like, full on whacked me across the face. And then I started crying because my face obviously hurt, and I started crying because I was like, I've heard of people being in violent relationships, and I didn't think this is I've heard of people being hit around by their partners, and I never thought I'd end up being in the situation where I'd get hit around by someone that I'm in a relationship with. And then he was like, then he said, just joking again. As if to say, just joking for hitting you. It's like, you just fucking smacked me. And then he looked at me when I was crying and went, what's wrong with you? And I was like, you just fucking hit me. Like, in my head, I'm like, you just hit me. But then I just went, nothing, because I was scared. I was thinking, is he going to hit me again? Like, what's going to happen? Like, I didn't know if I was going to leave this flat alive if I argued with him. So I just brushed it off because I was like, I've just got to play it, like, safe now. Like, my dad's, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. My parents are asleep. Like, I've got to play this as carefully as I possibly can right now. And then, oh, here we go. And then he, pushed me on the floor. And he was grabbing at me and grabbing my clothes and trying to pull them off, and I was hitting his hands away. I was like, no, I don't know, just get off me, no. But he's a very strong guy, he was a very big guy, and I was like, no, get off me, I don't want that, get off. And I was trying to smack his hands away, but he was pulling out everything, he was pulling out all my clothes. He was just tugging, trying to get all my clothes off. So obviously he was trying to rape me. But thankfully the alcohol helped in this situation because he passed out before he could. So while he was trying to do that, it got to a point where I just laid back and I was like, this is what's gonna happen. I've said no so many times. I'm gonna get raped. Oh shit, I'm gonna get fucking raped. this is actually gonna happen to me. Like, I'm gonna get fucking raped. What the fuck? This is actually gonna happen now. It got to a point where I knew I couldn't fight him because he's so strong. I was like, I've just accepted it. This is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get raped now. This is it. And then he passed out drunk on top of me. He just passed out and fell asleep. He threw up as well. Lovely, all over the floor. And I just ran into the bathroom, but my dad was asleep, and I didn't want to ring him, so I just got into bed, and I put the covers over me really tight, and I just went to sleep. And the next day, he woke up, and he was still drunk when he woke up, and he was very much argumentative, yelling at me, all this kind of stuff. He walked me to the train. I was like, I want to go home. I'm just really tired. I want to go home. And then he walked me to the train station. And I went home. Funnily enough, I didn't leave him then and there. I stayed with him for like another month. But that was going... Because he knew where I went to school. He knew I went to college, and he knew where I worked. So he would show up outside my work and outside my college to take me to his place. And... yeah, so that went on, and so the emotional abuse and the sexual assault in the night carried on for another month. And then one day I was done completely, and I was just sat in college. I was like, I don't want to go meet him. I don't want to go meet him. I don't want to go meet him. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I've got to do that today. That's what I'm meant to be doing today. I've got to go meet him after college. I don't want to do it. So I text him saying, I can't do this. It's over. He's like, you better. He's like, well, what do you mean it's over? I was like, it's done. I was doing this over text. And then he, no problem, gay vibes. And then he was like, well, you better meet up with me in person so you can do it in person. You gotta give me at least that. And I was like, yeah, I will. Wasn't going to. And that was the end of it. And is he still free? Yes. He never got arrested. But when the police came round to my house to take my statement, they looked him up on the system, and he has had many, many arrests for violence before. It turns out. And that is my story of my abusive relationship. And even to this day, I flinch when people get near this cheek. I flinch every single time. I don't like loud noises. Does he know where you live? No, he doesn't know. He knows where my parents live, but he doesn't know where I live, because I've moved out. So, one thing that was also really bad, so I blocked his number. He was told by the police to never contact me again. And to never, if he sees me in public, he has to go the opposite direction. He can never come and speak to me. He can never come into contact with me again. He can't ring me. So so during this process, I had to keep his number, just in case he did get in contact with me, so I could ring the police and be like, he's got in contact with me, he's broken the terms, just so I would know. And there was a moment where my parents were on holiday, so I just started a new job, so I had to stay at home because I couldn't go on holiday a week after starting this new job. So I was at home, and my parents were on holiday. My parents have CCTV cameras around the house, and they could watch them from where they were, so I kind of had some safety. And but 2 in the morning, so 2 a.m. My phone started ringing, and I was very confused. So I checked my phone, and my phone started ringing, and then it stopped, and then my phone started ringing again. So I checked my phone, and it turns out he was ringing me at 2 a.m. trying to get hold of me, and I knew for a fact the reason why he's ringing me is because he's drunk. But this was at 2 in the morning, and my parents, I don't know where he lives now. He moved flats since then. He's moved house since then. I don't know where he lives now. He lives. I don't have his phone number anymore. It's been a long time. Love you too, Milk. But yeah, my parents were on the other side of the country. I rang my dad and I was like, can you check? I was like, Dad, can you check the CCTV cameras, please? And he was like, why? What's going on? I was like, he's rang me twice. I need some reassurance that he's not outside the house. So my dad was checking the CCTV cameras and he was like, are the doors locked? I was like, yeah. And he was like, the window's locked? I was like, yeah. And he's like, right, he's not there. But just in case, keep everything locked and close the curtains. Keep the curtains closed just in case. But I'm going to keep an eye on the CCTV. But he's not there right now. He's not there. So I was like, right, okay, he's not there. And he didn't show up. He's never shown up. But I had to... So from college, my dad had to pick me up. So I couldn't... Because he knew where I went to college. And the college had to have a picture of him at the reception. So if he did turn up, they would know. And they'd call the police instantly. And I had to take a different... I had to walk the longer way home from work. Because he knew where I worked. So as a safety precaution, I had to walk a longer way. Yeah. But yeah, the police unfortunately couldn't do anything. So he's still out there. And what's really horrible is that before James lived with me, he lived near where he used to live. So, James used to live in Bolton. And he lived in Bolton, so he might still be in Bolton, to be fair. There you go, he's in Bolton. But, so, yeah. James used to live in Bolton. I remember James one time was like, can you come to my housewarming party? And I was like, oh, where is it? And he was like, oh, it's in Bolton, just get the train to Bolton. And I was like, I can't go to Bolton. And he was like, why can't you go to Bolton? I was like, James, that's where he is. I can't go to Bolton. He was like, right, when you get off the train, I'll be there and we'll just get a taxi straight to my place. He was like, are you sure? I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, don't worry about it. So I went to Bolton, and the entire time there, I didn't even have music playing because I was panicking. I ended up just speaking to an old lady on the bus the entire way there. Got off at Bolton, and I was having a panic attack the second I got there. Because I'm going like this everywhere, looking around at everything. Because I'm like, he could come from that way, he could come from that way, he could come from that way, he could just be on a walk, he could just be getting a coffee, he could be coming anywhere, he could come here, he could see me, he could do the same thing. I'm scared, I could die, and that was all that was going through my head. And James was like running a few minutes late, so I'm just stood there going, like. And I remember I saw his dad's car, and I just legged it. I legged it the other direction, and I fucking ran, and James was like, are you okay? And we're talking about my bisexual and abusive relationship. John, how are you doing, though? How are you doing, John? He's also the reason why I've never been able to. Since the last 4 years ago, I have not been able to go down on a guy in a relationship or in any way, shape, or form since then. Naturally, so I've never gone down on any guy since then because I'm traumatized from it. People wonder why I don't go down on guys. That's why. That is why I don't go down on guys, because of him. I don't do it anymore because of him. That is the whole reason why. It's just traumatized me since then. But every single time February hits, I think he's outside the room in work. I think I have dreams where he's come back into my life, and they are very vivid, those dreams. I think they are actually happening. So one dream that I had, I remember you don't normally remember your dreams, but I remember this one. And it's a dream where I was on the tram, I was on my way home from work, which was normal. So that's why I thought it was real. So I thought this dream was real. So I was on the tram, And we pulled into Piccadilly train station, and he's on the platform. And he sees me, and he waves at me, but his face looks very evil. And I panic. And then he gets on the tram. And then I get off the tram. And then he gets off the tram. And then I get back on the tram. And I just sit on the tram. And he's taunting me on the tram. And he's just talking to me, but he's taunting me. And the only reason why I knew this dream was a dream was because in the dream I had my bag on the seat next to me. I had my bag on the seat next to me, and and I don't ever do that, and that's the only reason why I knew that this was a dream, because I don't do that. What's the cause that you talk about this stuff? So we were talking about this stuff anyway, and I think we were just saying that rapists and abusers don't get a long enough sentence in prison, and a lot of people just don't believe the victims at all. And I said, yeah, and I was like, yeah, because my rapist is still out there, and I got asked, can you talk about it and tell us a bit more about it if you're comfortable? And I was like, yeah, that's fine with me. So that's the reason why I put a trigger warning as well in the title, if anyone joined in. So yeah, I was also showing this picture, which is me during that time. So in that relationship, this is me. Goth, I have bad news about Broken. What's up, DJ? What's happened? I've just noticed there's quite a few people here that has heard my story. And hi, guys. I hope you're doing okay. And I hope I've not upset you too much. But yeah, it feels weird to talk about it because, I don't know, it's just one of those where I don't really ever talk about it. Because, I don't know why. I just don't talk about it. Really. Feels weird, but also good to talk about, to get it out of my system. I've stopped filming it. Why? What's happened? What has happened though, Junior? DJ Junior? But yeah, that's my abuser's story. That relationship lasted 4 months. So normally from about February to March, which is when that abuse was key and started, that's when it's really, really bad. And it's one of those where the bad outweighs the good in that relationship. Some relationships have a lot more good than bad, but that one has so much bad. I don't think there's going to be any good that makes it decent. Oh, you should keep going. You should keep going, DJ. I think you should keep going with it. But yeah, I'm glad you guys I know. I like to remember that it just doesn't, that I don't think the thoughts about it will ever go away. I think because he was trying to message me and ring me afterwards,